one of the things that we love asking our guests is, what does the value chain of this industry look like? So as a consumer, and I was very ignorant about mattresses till I started researching about Duroflex and Sleepyard, and you said the number of SKUs that are out there, right? The number of different products.
Yeah.
And because mattress is one of those things that I want to talk about this point later in time. Also, this it's a purchase that I do once in a few years, right? So how do
Yeah.
you understand the lifetime value? But we'll get to that later. Now that we were talking about product and manufacturing, can you help us understand what is that value chain? Where does this originate? And where does the key R&D sort of apply? Like what stage does the R&D differentiate company A from company B?
So, like I mentioned before, we are almost fully backward integrated to the extent, let's take a product called rubberized coir mattress. Just to give you a very heads up understanding, before PU foam came in, I think most of India was using rubberized coir mattresses. Speaking a little technical, one of the bonding agents for rubberized coir mattress is something called latex. So the quality of latex matters in terms of how well you can bond the coir within. So we've gone, when we say backward integrated, we have farms which makes latex.
Oh wow, that
Yes.
that's
And
backward integration for
yeah,
sure. Yeah.
yeah. So we have farms which makes latex, and we have another sister entity which is the largest exporter of latex from India, which is called Coco Latex. So we've been exporting to US, Europe, Japan, South Korea for the last 20-25 years, Germany. So so when I say backward integrated, we are backward integrated till the farms. And let's say, I think about 15 to 20 years back, one of the biggest requirement which came from the US and European market was, they were very inclined to get organic latex. So which means we couldn't even use chemicals for our plantations. So that was another 5 to 10 year journey which we took, that to really understand plants, to get best yield from the plants, and still use organic manure or organic feed to these plants, so that our farms are organic certified. So today, what Duroflex uses, and in Sleepyard also, we have a range of matters called the Laxi, are organic certified latex. So for us, backward integration means go back to the absolute end, so
So,
that we monitor every aspect of production quality of every raw material goes inside.
so Matthew, that's what you're telling me is that you provide a farm to table mattress, right?
Yeah, another way of putting it, yes.
Farm
Yeah,
to
but
bed.
that's
Farm
farm
to
to
bed.
bed. But that's just one product in the portfolio. So I mean, another significant raw material in mattresses would be PU foam. So we do have two plants which fully make the entire PU foam, and we have about 30 grades of PU foam, which goes to different grades of mattresses depending on what kind of feel the customer requires. For their comfort, from regular memory foam to viscoelastic memory foam. From a layman perspective, that's called memory foam.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So viscoelastic polyurethane foam, and latex like polyurethane foam. So we have the entire portfolio of PU foam, and we have state of the art machines which actually makes these products. To the extent our factories are IKEA certified, and we supply to IKEA as well.
I have some friends who are IKEA certified as well, and they took me through the entire IKEA certification process. It is it is quite a
Yeah.
process. So congratulations on that.
Thank you. It took
But
us about 18 to 20 months to actually get that. So, and
I'm,
systems and processes to be very.
I'm not surprised at all. But my question was on what exactly is foam, because I keep hearing about foam. I see it inside my bed when my dog ties it up. What is foam actually?
So, foam is a byproduct made from a petrol based product. It is so there is two. It is primarily made of two chemicals called polyol and TDI, which is toluene diisocyanate, and the chemical reaction of these two with some blowing agent and water, it's going a little technical, is how you create polyurethane foam. And end of the day, foam is the comfort layer which you actually provide to the customer, so that you're not sleeping on a very hard spring or a very hard coir surface. It's the component which adds comfort.
The only reason I asked Matthew was because I feel like I've had so many conversations about foam, and like talking to you as well. We keep talking about foam, and then during this conversation, I realized I have no idea what it is. So I felt like you were the best person to ask. And also, I had a conversation many years ago with somebody who was talking about how the entire foam industry is completely disorganized,
Yeah.
and that one of he at that time was saying is that one of the big opportunities, like trying to organize the disorganized foam market. Uh, Whether or not that's a good business is a completely different thing. But Siddharth, do you have a
Yeah.
question?
So coir, foam, spring, those are the three sort of different materials depending on the, the kind of mattress that you're making. Within foam,
Correct.
as you said, there's a lot of research that goes on. Is this where the key R&D happens, or where else is the key R&D? Is there something on top of the foam that, requires more R&D? I'm just trying to figure
So
out where the R&D comes in.
yeah, so the R&D happens at two stages. The R&D happens at the raw material stage as well as the mattress stage. I mean, once we've designed a mattress, I think the mattress goes to at least 8 months to a year of R&D just to really understand it meets all the criteria in terms of, all the aspects in terms of what we're going to name it Duraflex or a Sleepyhead, right? So it's very important that it meets all the criteria. So you can't judge a mattress's efficiency or quality in a day or two. So it goes through at least 8 months of testing, or different levels of testing to really understand if it really fits our portfolio. So it's not really determined by just giving to a customer and waiting for the customer to come back and say, oh, it doesn't work for me. No, it
Okay.
we have something called the rollator test, and uh, many different aspects so that we meet all the criteria.
Okay, so what I'm trying to get to is around when Sleepy had started, which is 2017-ish,
17.
right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
There was a slew of these online brands that came up, right?
Correct.
Pretty much everybody that is decently big in the industry today started in that 2016 to 18 period.
Correct. Correct.
I don't know what happened suddenly, but if there is so much R&D that has gone in, if there is so much moat that you can build because of product R&D and stuff like that, I would think it's not as easy for an online brand to come up. You came up because you had the Duroflex experience and the manufacturing capacity. How did the other players came up in this industry? Did Was the R&D sort of open sourced in certain way where a lot of these contract manufacturers could do the same thing, or are the product qualities very different? I'm just trying to understand how did the industry suddenly move to on so much online in 2016 to 18.
Yeah. So two aspects. One, I think we would have seen a lot of brands coming in from 2016-17 is primarily because they would have realized doing business offline is a bit more difficult and complicated, because like I mentioned before, you cannot start a very large distribution network and a dealer network overnight. I mean, if I have to speak on Duraflex, we have a dealer network of maybe 6,000 dealers across India, and that is not achieved overnight. I mean, it's achieved through a long-term relation, how we treat them as a partner, how comfortable they are to deal with our products, the trust which we build between the partners. So any new player coming in, with the rise of marketplace like Amazon and Flipkart, it becomes easy for them to just place the product, and the product being available to any consumer to buy. Now, to your second question, how did a lot of people kind of get a construction right? Unfortunately, it's pretty easy because they can just rip open any good brand to really understand what is inside to kind of replicate the same
Hmm.
formula of variation. But what differs is it the same quality of material going inside which any other person use? Nobody would know. Only time will tell, or a consumer who's using it, inevitably, if they have a bad back, or you know uh, a spondylitis which is created due to bad sleeping posture, only those aspects will really kick in. And till then, they kind of get away, which is to be very honest, a very unfair place to be in. But unfortunately, that's what's being done. They kind of copy a brand who's already done the work to you know eliminate at least 5 to 6 years of research to actually jumpstart their game.
Yeah, this is such a interesting problem to solve for, that happens across different industries, software or where
Yeah.
I call it the second mover advantage, which is
Yeah.
let somebody else build the market, let somebody else do the market research, let somebody else figure out the product R&D, and then you come in once everything is ready. And
Yeah.
even if you have a slightly subpar product or slightly inferior product, there's still a market. When you're talking about 1.3 1.4 billion people, there is
Yeah.
still a market for that product, right?
Yeah.
Change the pricing slightly because you're using material that's cheaper, and you can do so much more there. As you said, it's unfair.